Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in the grind, no escape from me. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see I'm just a poor boy, scraping by minimum wage. Born in the shadows of the city lights, concrete cradle under endless nights. Daddy worked 2 jobs, mama prayed for rain. Bills like chains rattling around my brain. But I read the books when the wolves were at the door. Charts and candles on the bedroom floor. Stocks in the morning, real estate at noon. Silver and gold under the harvest moon. Sweat on my collar, fire in my veins. Every dollar saved was breaking free from the pain. They said play it safe, boy, stay in line. Clock in, clock out till the end of time. But the system's a cage with a velvet disguise, promising heaven while it steals your life. Rise from the ashes I built my throne. Turn pennies to empires of my own. Stocks and stones, bricks of gold, silver rivers in the stories I told. I broke the wheel, I broke the road, golden chains, no more. Golden chains, no more. I sold my fear for a pocket full of grit. Learned the hard math, made the numbers fit. While they were laughing, I was making my move. Every red defeat had something left to prove. Late night hunger and a borrowed chair, 1 cracked lamp and 1,000 stairs. I watched the weak hands fold and bend, then I doubled down and called it the end. Now the same old names come crawling back, knocking on my door with their polished stack. But I know that sound, I know that price. I paid in blood for this smaller life. They said stay small, boy, stay in line. Clock in, clock out till the end of time. But the system's a cage with a velvet disguise, promising heaven while it steals your life. Rise from the ashes I built my...
Good, amazing Saturday morning to you out there. Sorry, I gotta clear my throat real quick. Jeez, it's still a little too early for me to get started. I got a busy day coming up today, but I really wanted to hop in here and kind of talk about what I've been seeing with the market. I know a lot of people have been talking about the market. Also received some new coins recently that I've been purchasing and bidding on and looking into, trying to kind of, again, train that numismatic coin grading muscle in my brain to cement it over time. You know, we have to basically do something constantly, right? This whole theory, 10,000 hours to become a master, right? Well, again, I can read all these books. I've bought all these books and I've been reading like crazy, learning like crazy, watching YouTube videos, learning about these coins, you know, specifically the Walking Liberty $50 series. And, you know, you can only do so much through absorbing knowledge, right? Osmosis style, stuff like that. But to really get deep into it and to really learn these coins, I have to purchase them. I have to evaluate them, grade them, compare them, right, with my own hands, my own eyes, to really, I think, truly understand what I'm doing here. Hey, good morning, R.A. Salt and Silver. Appreciate you being in here. We are just kind of like doing a little quick Saturday morning show. Go in here, talk about the markets, talk about some precious metals. I built some stuff that, you know, some like shareable Google Sheet for you guys if anybody's interested in kind of like following along with my journey and what I'm doing. I'm going to be very like open and candid and, you know, honest with you guys, so you guys can see what I'm purchasing, what I'm spending, whether it's a good buy, a bad buy. You know, is this coin overgraded, undergraded? It's not about like an ego or pride thing. It's just about education for myself. And by doing it, you know, like hopefully by watching me go through this process, it helps educate other people in this as well. Good morning, TFT. What's going on? Rural Stacker. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Rural, I got to tell you, I don't think you need much praise from anybody else because you seem to be pretty disciplined and hardworking man. But I got to say, I am very, very impressed with not just your 75-day diet and training regimen, but the fact that you're training yourself to do one of those 100-mile marathons, or it's more than a marathon. I don't know what it's called. Ultra marathon. I don't know what it's called. But I'm pretty sure that you have the grit it's going to take to finish that race under the time that you've expected for yourself. So kudos to you, man. Nice work. Very good. Very it's inspiring. I don't know if you understand that, but like, you don't even have to post anything. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to even say anything. But just hearing that it's inspiring. It makes those of us out here, makes us want to, eat a little less and exercise a little more and be more productive and take a little bit more charge of your life. Right. So hey, good on you, Rural. That's enough glazing you. Okay. You're good. You don't need me to talk about you. Hey, what's up, Roadkill? How you doing, buddy? We're going to get into these guys. We're going to get into them. Not everybody has seen all these. This one right here was a new one that came in. I think I have two more, guys. I have two more graded walkers on the way. Found a really good deal with a guy on eBay yesterday and was talking to him. Is it oh yeah, me too, Roadkill, me too. I could walk it. I could walk the 100-mile race, but I sure as hell couldn't jog it up and down hills. And yeah, heck no. I'd be gassed, boys. Just trying to spread some motivation. I think you're doing a great job of it. So I've got a couple more graded coins on the way. Also, if you guys don't know, this little ugly coin up here, this little coin is a 1921. Oh, that stuff is on the case there. Ignore that. This is a 1921S. Not in good shape, okay? Not in good shape, but we can use a coin like this to go through its details and to learn the grading scales. So that's why, again, also it is a key date, right? It's a short minted key date coin right there. I think it's something like 548,000 were ever minted, and obviously we all know there's significantly less of those in existence. But yeah, I got a few more graded coins coming, anywhere between 19, MS64, 65s, because I want to compare them all together and try to see, I want to try to understand the levels of the same grade, so I know what more to look for the kind of coins that I want to collect. So that's what's going on there. That's what's new with me. And that's kind of, again, just continuation of the journey. I've got even more books came in. Oh, this book came in. I don't think I shared with this last time. This book came in right here. This is an older book. I think it was produced in 1983. It is the Walking Liberty $50 book by Anthony Schweitek. And apparently, as much as more and more I keep learning about Anthony Schweitek, he was like a renowned, I guess, numismatist, coin grader. Oh, hey, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but welcome. Thanks for being here. Appreciate your subscription. It looks like it's a Czech or Russian spelling. I'm not sure how that translates to English, but welcome. Thanks for being here. But yeah, so Anthony Schweitek is a renowned coin grader and numismatist, and does a lot of different things. So I picked up his book, and I'm excited to get into this. I have not started this one yet. I'm still finishing another book that I have. It looks like this is going to follow the same style as, I think there was a Dave Fox book that I picked up, as well as that other Walker. What's this book about? We're not quite sure. You shouldn't judge a book by its cover, right? But I think this one's pretty clear, right? So I'm excited. Again, I can't stress enough. I'm just laying out there for you guys how I kind of go about my business. But, I think education, right? Educate yourself through wisdom of learning from other people that are experts in the field. Supplement that with your own hands-on experience to continue and further your education, right? You can apply the things that you're learning through your other sources in, factual life, instances here. And I can take these real experiences that I have with this stuff, and I can kind of correlate the information I'm learning with what I'm seeing. And for me, it just really propels me forward in my education as fast as possible. And so that's just the way I do things. So here we are. That's what we're doing. So, let's switch over to screens, talk about some markets, talk about what I've been seeing. I could talk about some plays that you guys could be making, I guess, in theory. Again, not necessarily anything other than me just sharing what I'm doing. It's not necessarily financial advice for any one individual or anything like that. So we'll switch over here to the browser view. Boop, and like that. There we are. All right, we finished the week down significantly. Pretty tough day, I guess, for people that care about the current average price. But gold fell down to $4,539. Yeah. I do. I try to make the polls. I try to make the polls somewhat like minuscule, thought provoking in a way. Like rub you in a little bit of a direction, but also like make you actually think about it. Anyway, yeah, we're going to talk about short-term profit. And the reason I bring this up is because I see a lot of people, especially a lot of YouTube channels, like really talking as if, how do I say this like it sounds as if a lot of people on YouTube are chasing quick wins and chasing quick success, either because they don't have the life expectancy to have to be able to wait 15-20 years for the fruits of their labor, or they simply have gotten so caught up in the presentation of wealth and the, I guess, almost like the fallacy of quick success, that they think that that's what they have to pursue to be successful. I don't know if that makes sense. It's almost like we were just talking about Rural and his training for his race that's, weeks away, right? 21 weeks till race day. He started training already. Like, it's that same kind of mentality. If you want good health and you want strength and you want endurance, like, right? You can't just take a pill. Yeah, you can hop on TRT, but you still got to put in the work, right? You still got to go and train every day. You still got to stretch. You still got to hydrate. You still got to sleep and recover and rebuild and recover, right? And it takes time. And I think that this day and age, with all this social media and the ability to constantly be entertained by people that are showing you wealth and success, like I imagine, you're a 65-year-old man, right? And you watch YouTube and you see these, 20-something punk kids driving around in Ferraris, literally just wasting their money on alcohol and drugs and, just getting arrested and just doing foolish stuff. And it's like, right? Is it what the beauty is wasted on the youth or something like that? Same thing with money, right? And the thing is that, hey, what's up, Pang? Exactly. He's gonna run it with 3 Morgans. He should have to run with $1.50 for every subscriber that he has. He's got like bags of just backpack full of like silver coins, and he has to do the jog, Anyway, but yeah, I think we get so caught up in this idea that like we deserve success now. We shouldn't have to wait. We've done things the right way. Why can't we catch a break? And I think we kind of get down on ourselves a little bit, or just like kind of just simply want the things that we want now, and we don't want to have to wait for them. And I see that in like all aspects of life, from all different age groups and everything. So and I'm not perfect with it. I'm talking from experience too, right? Like but I can tell you, just everything that I've built in my life has come from a pretty hardcore dedication to a long-term plan, as in like a 30-40 year plan. And honestly, most of the things that I have obtained going through that process and that plan have actually arrived significantly earlier than I ever expected. But it wasn't because of, it wasn't because of any fluke incident, spot success. That it was because of hard, diligent lifestyle changes that would push me in the direction of the goal that I wanted to achieve. So anyway, I'm not here to preach this morning. I'm really here just to talk about silver and gold and kind of what I'm seeing, if you guys care to hear. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, silver ended up, having a 9% down day. That's a significant. I'm willing to let anybody call that a crash. I'm willing to let anybody call that, scary and like all the different adjectives that people want to use. 9% is a big move in silver in one day. Even 2.5% on gold. It's a pretty significant move in one day. And it is what it is. I don't know that this is any surprising. In fact, there was a video put out by one of our fellow, community members when silver was at like $86 or $87. I said exactly in his comment section, you can go look it up yourself. I said, yeah, this is fine. I will just sell at 90 because why not? I can just buy it all back at 75. And I said the same thing in our Discord server. Like our Discord server, we're hanging out, and I said the same thing. I said, hey, you just sell some silver at 90 and buy it back at 75. Now, why would I say something like that? What basis do I have for saying something like that? Well, I think that, you don't have to believe in technical analysis. You don't have to believe in, I don't know what you believe in if you don't believe in technical analysis right now. You don't have to believe in fundamentals. You don't have to believe in inventory levels and COMEX trade. Things tend in life, because of the millions of people out there, or billions of people out there, and the millions that are probably partaking in financial markets and things. What is going on with my website? Things tend to want to revert to the mean, right? And so, like, if we have, like, this is the last 3 month chart, right? If we have, that's kind of funny. By the way, I did not draw this line prior to this video. This line was drawn on a different video, and I don't even know like what month range it was on there, but it was a pretty good trend line. That green line that just popped up when I went into my thing. Things tend to revert to their averages, right? So if our average over the last 3 months, if you exclude, remember the giant run up that happened at the beginning of the year with the giant fall off, it is what it is. It's like not that big of a deal. It happens, right? So we have this massive spike, we get to 5,600, right? And then we collapse back down to 4,400, which again, losing 20% value is a pretty, it's a pretty good thing. I don't know why my website's unresponsive. My internet is connected, right? Yeah, you guys are still with me? Yeah, you guys are still chatting. So things tend to want to go back and revert to their averages. So if I'm looking at this and I'm just like sitting here trying to put a line out here, this line's not perfect. So let's go ahead and erase it. Again, I don't know when this line was actually put, but it's probably going to be right about where it's at, right? 5,600 is probably where I would expect like a trading level at. You could probably go a little higher. I wouldn't fault you if you went to 4,700. And you're probably going to be okay, right? Somewhere in that range. Now, obviously, it goes up and down over time, and historical data points shift averages and means over time, right? That's the whole purpose of them. And you go with the flow. But if I'm just looking at this, what I would just simply do in my head. It's not perfect. And again, you guys can do whatever you want to do. Was it 6 month chart that we were looking at? That was okay. Same thing, right? Let me remove all this crap from the last stream. I would say, we could probably come somewhere right around in this range right here. Kind of right where it's at 76.50. I would assume that the fair silver price in today's market is probably around 75 to 76 bucks. So what does that mean for me? Okay, well, pretty simply, if it dips down below, if it does do one of these dips where it dips to 65 or 68 or 72, what if I bought 100 ounces? All right, just work with me here on this theory. If I bought 100 ounces at, let's call it 72, all right, I spent $720 because I got a perfect spot deal for some crap generic rounds that nobody wants. So I spent $720, right? Okay, great. Then we hit 85 because, it's just trending in that way. Like over time, it's hitting, maybe let's go 80. Let's just go 82 because it seems like it's hit 82 a few times. So, all right, so now we've got this channel that we're trading in 72 and 82. Now, most people are just buying. And if that's your thing, I completely understand it, right? Maybe you just buy when it gets to 72 or below 74 and you just buy and then you hold. That's perfectly fine too. I'm not telling anybody to sell or trade or whatever. I don't care. What you do with your money in your life is you, right? So let's say I'm buying at 720 and I'm selling at 820. So I'm making $100. Sure, you go pay the tax, man, your income tax, whatever. Somewhere between 18 and 35%, right? Depending on who you are. Okay, sure, whatever. So that's just with the 10 ounces or whatever it is. Sorry, 100 ounces would have been 700, 7,200, right? So you get the point. So you're making a little bit of money. If it was 100 ounces, it would have made $1,000. If it's 10 ounces, you made $100, right? And it's I wouldn't do this with the physical silver just because the shipping delays and the delivery delays and the inspection and the authorization. But you could totally do this with the futures chart. You could totally do this. What's up, Christian Love? Thanks for being here. Pang, did I miss anybody who arrived here? Anyway, if I did, I apologize. But you could totally do this. Let's say I did this with the SLV, and I had my Robinhood account or something, right? 0 fees, 0 transaction fees, 0 balance fees, blah 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 blah. If you ever have any brokerage account that you're trading in, you just want as low as fees as possible. All right, so if I bought, same thing, 100 shares of SLV at 72, and then I sold 100 shares of SLV at 82, you make your $1,000. You don't even have to play the puts. You don't even have to play the short game. Then you just wait. You wait on your laurels until it comes down. If it goes to 85, oh no, I had some opportunity cost. I sold too early. Who cares, right? But this is the channel that we've been in. Could it go all the way down to 40 and you lose everything? Yep, absolutely. Could it go all the way up to 140 and you should have bought a lot more and you shouldn't have sold? Yeah, sure. Who cares though, right? Who cares? My charts always look crazy when I'm done. You need a lot of money to make money. Once you have that, it's easy going. Yeah, Roadkill, that is a valid point. And sometimes I think conversations like this don't connect with everyone simply because they don't have the disposable income or the extra cash or whatever to do things like this. That is a very valid point. But it doesn't mean that it's not possible, right, Roadkill? And you could, in theory, do this with the actual metals, but again, it's a little harder because the liquidity basically just meaning the ability to basically sell it and offload it for cash and have that transaction be completed. It takes a lot longer with the physical metal than it does. You could just walk into your LCS, but again, you guys know how the spreads will change, the margins will change based on the price variance. And so it's not going to be a one-to-one as much as it would be with the paper. Okay. But here's another thought that you could do. If you wanted to get really sophisticated, you get a little bit of experience under your belt, and you get the ability to trade options. Let's say I had 2,000 ounces of silver. Okay. Let's say I had 2,000 ounces of silver, and the silver price went to $90. This is going to be a little bit confusing, but just bear with me. Okay. I got 2,000 ounces of silver, and the price goes from $75 to $90. So there is a thing that you could do where you could buy basically the opposite contract so that you're hedging yourself against potential loss. So in this situation, let's say that I just did this on this last week or two, right? This is where it kind of, it hit like 89 or something. Let's call it 90. And now it's back to 75. What I could have done is if I had 2,000 ounces of physical silver, let's say I wanted to hedge 50% of my stack. You guys with me on this math class this morning? I could have bought 10 puts. Okay. I could, again, I'm trying to hedge half my stack. Each option contract is 100 shares. Let's just say I was looking at the SLV and I bought at $90. I bought 10 puts that had a month expiration with a strike price of like $75. Okay. Now, what that does for the layman's terms is this basically says that if the silver price keeps going up, I'm going to lose money on these options that I bought. However, I'm in theory increasing the valuation of my physical metal. Are you with me on that? If you went the other way, right? Let's say instead of going, let's say it goes to $110 and now my puts are losing a lot of money. However, it's being offset, right? It's being offset by the valuation growth of my physical silver. Are you with me? But if it goes the other way, right? If it goes from 90 to 70, if it goes from 90 to 75, like it just did, these puts gain massive amounts of leveraged value, massive amounts of value, I can sell the puts when it gets to 75, take all of that profit, and I still own the 2,000 ounces of physical. However, obviously, its value has gone down. When it went down from 90 to 75, it went down $15 an ounce in value, but I still own the physical, but I just took in all that profit from the puts that I sold, and I can literally take that, and if I really wanted to just stack physical, I could just go and I could just buy the physical metal with the profits from that. Or I could play the other way. I could buy call options now and try to run it all the way back up. Now you're just gambling, right? You're always gambling. You went from hedging to gambling if you do that. But that is how, like, just I don't know how to explain it any better, but that's how, like, let's take a mint like Scottsdale has, let's say Scottsdale Mint has, 100 or a million ounces of physical silver. They absolutely probably do. You could probably go ask them and they would probably tell you this. They probably own very large short positions on the COMEX. Why would they do that? Because they are hedging the value of their physical silver so that if there is a giant crash, they don't lose all of their equity. Does that make sense? Do you guys understand what I'm saying here? Anyway, I wanted to get a little bit technical to understand, like, there's like a little bit, and that's not even as sophisticated as this can get, right? There are sophistications to this that I think that when people shout manipulation, I think a lot of times people just don't understand, like, what could be going on and why. And whenever you see, as exciting as it is, right? Let's go back to here. Let's go back to this. Okay. As exciting as it is to see this movement, right? Where was it? Right here, right? That's pretty cool, right? When you go from, let's call it, I don't know, 77, 78, and you go all the way up to $89 and, 36 cents. That feels exciting. But when it happens in the short term, right? When it happens very quickly, like these giant bumps up, you can kind of expect that in my experience, again, this isn't guaranteed ever. This isn't advice for, what you should do, but you can kind of expect that when there's an extremely fast run up, that there will be an extremely hard pullback often. So again, the more exciting the run up is, probably the more likely it is that it's going to crash at some point. What you want to see is like a good long multi-year leg, steady growth, just a slow, steady growth, maybe like a 30-degree angle upward, or a 40-degree angle. You don't want to see, right? Like, you want to see something like kind of like that, right? You don't want to see a 90-degree angle. Are you guys with me? What's up, Mustard and Biscuits? Mustard and Biscuits spreading some truth out here. What do you say? Aaron Tippin said, you got to get started if you want to get it done. Yep, that's good advice, right? It's kind of like, how do you eat an elephant, right? That whole saying, how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. How do you climb a mountain? One step at a time, etc. Same type of thing. Roadkill says, I just opened a Fidelity account a couple days ago. I'm working my way up to start buying some stocks or options, trying to make some money otherwise. Yeah, Roadkill, again, just, there's take your time to learn what you're doing, right? You can lose a ton of money, just like you can gain a ton of money. If you're only, betting with $1,000, well, your potential loss is only $1,000, right? So just be smart with it. There's no guarantee on anything. But I do encourage you guys to just think about like other ways. So think about if you had millions of dollars tied up in something, wouldn't you want to lock in that valuation? Well, yeah, how you can do that is by going on the short side of these markets if you own physical products, physical commodities. So anyway, I see a lot of people doing that. West Texas Stacker, what's going on, my friend? Welcome. Very true. It rises quickly, it's going to crash. That's just people selling and taking profit. Yeah, it's just natural. You're locking in gains. Maybe, maybe they had a goal. A lot of this stuff is just computer algorithmic trading, right? Like maybe it was set that, hey, if it hits, 88, if it hits $88, that's a, 15% gain or whatever it is, or 20% gain on my investment. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to take profits. It's not all now, 10% down is pretty rough. It normally indicates like at the very least institutional collaboration. It takes lots of money to push something down that much, right? But it doesn't mean it's manipulation. It could just be just natural trading. Now they want to take the short side because they felt like it was overbought, and they want to wait and they want to sell off until it gets to being oversold, and then they'll buy it back, right? It's not nefarious. It's just people playing both sides in the market trying to make money. All right, I wanted to start with that. I don't know why, because I probably just bored everybody to tears. So I apologize for that. That was on my mind. It was on my mind. And, I felt like maybe some people could use hearing about that. So, also another thing I found interesting, I was looking at just deals. I always shop at deals. I told you guys every time my web browser loads, I load these deals, right? There are a couple spot gold coins for like 1 ounces if you got like five, like right here, the 100 gold Corona restrike. This is the kind of stuff I buy, by the way. Like, people always are like, I've had people legitimately, guys, I've had people walk into my channel and leave comments saying that basically I was a liar and that you can never buy precious metal or gold at spot and stuff like that. So anyway, I've seen it on 1/10 ounces. I've seen it on what is it, $5 gold pieces. I've seen it on 20 francs. I've seen it on St. Gaudens. I've seen it on random like other sovereign nation gold 1 ounce coins. This is the 100 Corona that is at spot. So anyway, I've seen, my point is that yes, if you take your time and you shop and you wait and you're patient, you can find stuff spot. But anyway, what I wanted to point out is like, you see how right here the market price for SD bullion for silver is 76.70, and JM bullion is 76.70, and money metals is 76.75. I just noticed this though, but look at this. The market price on monument metals is 75.99. It's actually 71 cents lower on monument metals than the other sites. And I only bring this up, I find it interesting, right? Because that's the price that they're going to sell to you at, right? Is whatever this says. So you're saving 70 cents an ounce just from making sure you're buying from somebody. Now you can compare prices, right? But I just found that to be kind of interesting. Like, there's a spot Elemental 1 ounce silver buffalo round for $75.99. That's a spot price, right? Am I crazy? That's a spot price. And something I've learned is that some of these people, some of these places, they bump up to like the ask of some random thing that they're looking at. Anyway, I just brought that up because I just want you to shop around. Don't get hung up on just one company that you buy from or whatever. Shop around, find the best deals, set up multiple accounts, and you can definitely get better prices. Now, here's the other funny thing I always see. Like, we all are very concerned about spot, but have we ever thought, like, for a second to understand that, like, okay, let's say silver is $70 an ounce, right? And I can buy it for a, let's call it a 10% spot. Let's go plus 10% just because that's easy math. Okay. I would be paying $77 per ounce, right? If I bought, let's say it's American Silver Eagle and I'm buying it for 10% above spot. So I'm paying $77 an ounce. A lot of the times we're like, no, don't do it because it's so much over spot. Like you're paying such a premium. Yet then, bear with me, silver goes to $85 an ounce and we're buying ASEs at spot for $85, and we're acting like we are heroes because we paid spot price and we didn't pay that 10% premium. Right? You guys feel me, right? I'm not the only one that has seen this and heard this and felt this, right? That it's like, at the end of the day, all that matters is the total cumulative price that you pay per ounce. If you're tracking that and you're trying to like see, what your average price is, it doesn't like the premium only matters if silver's up 30% in a week and you're paying a 10% premium, you're probably not getting a good deal, right? There's a reason why all these companies release spot deals after silver has gone up 10 or 15%, because they're getting the same or more dollar per ounce than they were getting when it was 70. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Anybody out there understand what I'm saying? So I just find that funny as well. It's another trap. Like, well, what the heck? Don't get caught up in that trap. Like, just understand your ranges. That's why I brought this up. You see, it's all kind of tying together. Understand your ranges that you're willing to purchase at, and that's more important than the premium. In reality, is just look. You look at this and you say, okay, I believe that the fair value price of silver is in the last 3 months. I believe that the fair market price should be around $73 or $74. So at the end of the day, try to buy your silver for around that price. It doesn't, if it's a spot deal and you're paying $90 per ounce and it crashes back to 75, like, you were better off buying the $75 silver with a 10% spot. You got me. I hope so. Anyway, I'm feeling like a kind of being like a Saturday morning preacher. It's not my intent. These are just things that, like, I'm just kind of like rattling off like a squirrel. I'm just kind of like looking at trends that I'm seeing and things that I'm hearing and like the way that we're, kind of interacting. And these are just thoughts that come across my mind. That's all. I don't have a rhyme or reason. Oh, okay. Also, I built this for you guys. I have a link to it in my Discord. I will share this link with you guys if you want. Here, let's do it right now. If you guys want, here's the link. I built this document. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect document. But if you're with me on this Walking Liberty $50 journey, let me explain what I've got here. So what I did is I took every single coin. When I say I did it with the assistance of artificial intelligence and Google and PCGS and the Red Book. But anyway, I combined all this stuff. So what we have here is a failure to communicate. All right, sorry. Again, Jesus, I don't know. My coffee was stiff this morning. I already tried to do some work on the truck at like 7 a.m. I've been out there. I have been out there. I've been out there a lot today. 12 o'clock West Texas stacker for me. 12 p.m. to 5 or 6 p.m. is what they do. Get your spot is touching the same dollar amount a lot lately throughout the past months. Got you. Spot is touching. Yeah, it doesn't really. It kind of just shifts, right? Kind of just shifts. All right. So here we got every year of mintage plus the particular mint variant. So 1916 DS, D obverse, D reverse, S obverse, S reverse. You get the point here. Then I've got MS60, MS61, MS62, MS63, 64, 65, and 66. So these are the grades. Now, the prices are not perfect, and they're not all validated yet. It's just a lot of work, but it is a good ballpark estimate. The notes, just some quick notes about them, if they're a key date or not, yada, 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 yada. Which is pretty obvious if you just look at the quantity minted. Like, it's pretty obvious which ones are key dates or not key dates, right? So like that 1921S I just picked up, it's a key rarity, it's a key date. There's only 548,000 of them, right? And you can see that like this coin in an MS66, right, is anywhere between $125,000 and $200,000. So what this is showing you is the date of the coin, the mint, and then the estimated valuation of that coin at that particular grade. I did this, I updated this chart, the silver spot price at 76.75, and then I listed the mintages for every single coin. Again, just kind of putting all my information in one spot. What I hope to do with this as I get more and more accomplished at understanding these coins and seeing these coins and shopping these coins, what I plan to do is then look for opportunities where I could try to find a coin that is what I believe undergraded, right? So maybe it's in the MS62 condition, but it has the same characteristics and features of, say, an MS63 or an MS64. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for areas where I can say, okay, what would be a good coin to look for? And I went ahead and even highlighted some of them for you. Now, again, we have to verify all the prices and all the current market prices. It said that it was as of May 2026, but then again, you can go to PCGS, and this is the same thing on PCGS. If you're not sure, I'll show you. This is PCGS's very own price charts where they do the same thing. They list these coins out in the different conditions. They don't have every single one, 61, 62, yada, yada. They kind of do some jumps, some gaps, but that's where it is. Hey, take care, TFT. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you guys. Thank you to everybody who takes a second to hop in here and see what we're doing. I do appreciate it. I was just something I noticed most LCS operate about the same time. Yeah, I mean, most of them seem to just like kind of like wander in. I think what they do though, West Texas, is I have a feeling they get into their LCS. Like they probably open the doors for themselves and their employees around like 8 or 9 a.m. 9 probably. And then what they probably do is handle all their orders, you know, set up their shop, get all their, you know, money situation, you know, maybe they go to the bank and get, you know, get their cash situation handled, you know, get stuff out of the safe and put it up for display. I imagine, and also like I think most people probably aren't up and at 'em and like visiting the coin shop at 8 or 9 or 10 a.m. So being open around lunchtime makes sense. You know, people can go out and do their errands, get their lunch, you know, shop their coins, whatever it kind of makes sense. The hours hey, what's up, THS? The hours for most shops tend to reflect what their customer base kind of wants, right? If they had people beating down their door every day or, you know, at 9 a.m. saying, hey, let me in, like they'd probably change their hours to be 9 a.m. That's just my assumption, though. I could be wrong. Anyway, so PCGS has their, there's also population reports, which you can combine, which remember we have the population report on a different stream, but this is their estimated valuation for these coins in these conditions. So you still, I would want to go back through and verify all this stuff. Hey, what's going on, Sublime Mad Dog? Thanks for being here. 10:30 gives me time to go to the bank. Yeah, perfect, Pang. So yeah, I got all this information here, and here's some examples, right? And here's some examples. Let me explain what I was kind of looking for. So I go down here and I can find some coins. For instance, you know, if I were to buy a 1936, again, Walking Liberty half dollar in the MS63 condition, so 1936 MS63, I can come over here and I can cross-reference it to make sure it's right. MS63, they're saying is around $130, 60, 75. So it's somewhere in between probably 75 and 130. Let's call it like 100 bucks. So you know, again, probably a little bit off here. If it's going to cost you whatever, 30 bucks to grade. So you got to factor that in. What we're looking for are coins that if we were to get one grade higher, is the step up significantly higher to the point where it's worth doing. Whereas if it came back a grade lower, there's not as much loss. So here's a good example. An MS62 1923S, again, prices need to be still verified. I'm not doing this for like every coin. I'm not even doing this at all until I learn about grading more. But here's the example. Let's say I buy an MS62 and I'm looking at it and the coin looks very nice, you know, like very few blemishes. Maybe it's in an older holder, whatever, you know. If I were to crack this coin out and it comes back in MS62, the only thing I've lost is the grading fee. Let's just call it 30 bucks. If it comes back in MS61, well, I lost $350 because the value drops because of the lower grade and I'm out 30 bucks. So I lose like 380, 400 bucks. However, if this coin were to come back as an MS63, you gain $4,000. So again, these numbers need to be verified. But you see the point. The point is that the downside risk potential is minuscule in the grand scheme of things. It's 30%. Whereas the upside potential is like, you know, 5x. That's the point. That's the point. You guys follow me what I'm doing here. So that's what this chart is. If you want to use this chart, again, I just gave you guys the link. I'll post it in my community tab or something like that. It's also posted. Take care, Rural. Thanks. Appreciate you. Yep. It's also posted on my Discord if you're a part of that. But I just made this chart real quick. Again, prices need to be verified over time as anybody does this. Like if you're looking up, you know, if I'm in the market to buy, let's say a 1939 MS63, right? Then I will go and I will get more active price charting. I'll look at, hey, good morning, Argent. How you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. I will go onto the PCGS, you know, price guide. I'll go to NGC price guide. I will go on to eBay recent sales. Maybe I even go on to Heritage Auction recent sales, right? And I will update these prices to get a better idea if it's worth doing or not. But yeah, same theory here. You know, 1939 MS63 is going to be 80 bucks and MS62 is probably going to be 70 bucks, right? So no downside potential really lost there if you come back lower. If you come back the same, you're out the grading cost. But if you come back higher, you basically doubled the value of the coin, right? So that's the theory here, you're welcome to use this. You're welcome to do whatever you want to. This is just a copy of it. I have a master copy myself, so feel free to like make adjustments as the community does this. That would, I would appreciate that actually, if people go through and validate some of these prices and update these things. So yeah, that's a little chart I made for the community. Feel free to use that. Real quick, if you guys don't mind, I want to do a little bit of coin hub here, a little coin hub. But so this is the coin I just recently picked up. Let me move my camera real quick to make sure I'm looking at this properly. Yep. So this is my newest pickup here. This is the 1941 Philadelphia Mint MS65. Again, I feel like this was a very high quality MS65 version. You see like a little bit of like a weird indentation coloration on the right side in the field, but not much at all. Very clean coin, beautiful. I don't know, beautiful luster and eye appeal in my opinion. No real huge blemishes on like the main focal points of the sun or Lady Liberty, right? Typically her face and her left breast and her left hand and her skirt can have some like micro abrasions and deep cuts and scratches. Not too much of that here, a little bit on the skirt, like kind of down here. But really, in my opinion, looking at this coin, right, I felt like most of the devices and fields are in an extremely nice condition, right? I mean, they're just kind of giving you guys a couple different angles to see here. You can see the scratches I was talking about in the fields, right? There's a little bit of like micro scratches right there where that like fold is. And then we switch it over here to the backside. And same type of thing, you know, eagle breast feathers, eagle wing feathers, really nicely detailed coming off there. No real big, hey, what's up, Penny Scout? How you doing? Thanks for coming in, buddy. No real major edge dings, right? I felt this was a pretty beautiful, solid MS65. Now, could it come back? Like, would this be a candidate for cracking out and trying to get a 66 or something? I don't know. Again, we're not nearly at that level of grading expertise yet. So I have a lot. I'm not going to crack any of these coins out. I'm just going to kind of hold them. But beautiful coin just came in. I mean, honestly, it kind of rivals this other one that I was like infatuated with not too long ago. But you see how that one has like some abrasions on the sun rays, whereas this one does not. So, two really nice specimens here, I think, of the Walking Liberty $50, and these are both 65s. What I felt to be really, really nice coins. So, yep, this is the other 65 that we had. This one has like some, you know, darkening happening, some graying happening. You want to see those weird curvy lines in the light next to any picture on a silver coin is a sign it's actually silver. Other metals are really flat and it won't have those. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm kind of like into the grading coins right now. Is that on the scuff on the outside, or is that oil or scuff? Maybe it looks like it might have been just oils. Okay. So this one still has like the luster, but you can see the graying and like kind of toning starting to happen. So I don't know if that happened, you know, after it was in this slab or before it was in the slab. I don't know, but this, you know, been around for a while. But pretty nice as well. So these three, I got two more on the way. This was the 1921S. This is not nearly as nice of a coin. I'll keep it in the. No, I gotta take it out because I can't do that. That capsule's ugly. I can't get this out with my gloves on, so I apologize. This capsule was dirty when they sent it to me. This is how they sent it, but this one obviously is, you know, poor details. No rim anymore. The rim is kind of worn away. The word Liberty's barely there. You know, part of the date's off, but we're gonna use this coin to have some fun with. I think I might even, you know, as ugly as this coin, well, it's not ugly, but as worn down as this coin is, what we'll do is I think we'll add this to our list of coins that we're going to try to get graded, and we'll go through and like maybe it'll be just like a, you know, like an AG2 or something. I don't know. It doesn't even matter, but we're going to do our best to try to like understand what this coin could be graded at. And I think we just send it off just for fun and just for, again, education. But you can see the rim is basically completely gnawed away. No breast feathers, you know, no eagle eye or nostril or beak, or like it's all pretty much gone. So this one I think is going to be very, very, very low grade. However, again, we're training our eye, right? We're training our eye. We're training that brain muscle to identify grading levels at a particular time. So anyway, 1920S, Very few of these printed. This is, I think, my second or third one. I also have a 1921 on the way. I have a 1921 on the way. I have another MS65. I think it's a 1940 MS65. And I have a MS64 that was, it's an interesting story, but it was listed as an MS63. The guy sold it to me for the MS63 price, but the images were all of an MS64 coin. So I messaged him and I said, hey, I just want to validate, like, your eBay listing says MS63, but you're showing all these images of a 64. Is the listing wrong, or is the coin you're showing wrong? And he showed me pictures of the coin in the messages, and he said, hey, no, this is, the coin is a 64. I'll update the listing. Well, he didn't change the price. So I just bought it from him. And then, so I paid $125 for the coin. And then I went over here, right? I think it was a 39. I think this was it. Yeah. Anyway, I think it was the 39 Philly. It was either the 39 Philly or it was the 39D. I guess I could, like, pull up my account and look. 1 second. Let me see what it was. Let's get real information here. Give me 1 second, please. Just it is the 39D. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull this up here. Open image in new tab. Okay. So this is the picture he sent me for confirmation, right? You can see some abrasiveness over here, so it's kind of clear, probably like widening S65. You see the ray here has a little ding. But anyway, so MS64, he also sent, like, there's 14 pictures on the original eBay listing or whatever it is, 14, 15 pictures. So there's tons of pictures of this coin. It looks really nice. Even that's, like, probably the worst image that you can see of it. But this was an MS64. Okay, so he sold it for $125. So I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. Let me see if let me see what the recent comps were. Let's pull this over here. In 1939, oops, my keyboard, it's kind of in a weird spot. 9D, 56 Walking Liberty, 50 MS64. Okay, so if I go here, right, and I can look, right, so here's a 64 with yellow toning and stuff, ugly black toning around the rim, like, not a good quality of this coin. Like, that's not a coin. I would not buy this coin, right? And this one is probably the lowest one. It's a 135. All right. If I go look through here, here's a 1990, there's an MS62 at 230, 1939 Philly for MS66, 315. Like, that's a nice copy. Here's a 64D at 160. That's a little bit closer to it. That's a nice one. Let's see here. Did you get these off eBay? North Star Stacker. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys through it about what's going on here in a second. Here's another one, right? MS64 for 200. Again, I paid 125 because he had it listed as the MS63 price. So I think he compared the MS63s and then listed it in that conjunction. So I even looked up the exact coin that I bought. Here's another one that's 200 or best offer. So you're like, okay, that's great. That's just listings. That doesn't mean anything. So I went to sold. Okay. All right. Well, there's me. That's my coin that I bought. So that's the one I just bought right here at the top. And it looks like a really nice coin. So here's one that sold. Here's a 1939D MS64 sold for 175. Here's a D at 64 sold for 170, 168, whatever. Here's one that sold for 160. Okay. And here's the ugly one that sold for 135. Here's one that sold for 175. This one is probably the closest version of it right here. So this one right here for 130, right? Which one sold Friday? Looks pretty decent. Yeah, that looks decent. That's pretty comparable right there, right? And I looked at some other sites to see what they were. Anyway, I looked it up on PCGS. PCGS also has it listed at 200. So I got it for the lowest price of any of them listed. And in some cases, like, significantly under. Like, there was a lot, like this one, for 190. There's a lot of sales in that, like, 175 to 200 range, as you guys can see. And we'll see the coin when we get it, right? We'll see if it was a good buy or not. So again, I'm just kind of taking you guys through my journey. These were sold, you know, and prices go up and down all the time. But yeah, I felt like that seems like a really good deal. And so I went and picked it up, and we'll see what happens. Like, here's an AU-58.
Stay a while and listen.
This AU-58, just in perspective, that AU-58 is the exact same price that I got mine for. I mean, not the exact price. I'm not trying to exaggerate, but like $120 versus $129 or whatever it was. Like, it's basically the same stuff. It sounds like we'll see. We'll see. If it's a good deal or not. The guy had, you know, a lot of pictures. Mine was the last one sold, right? So we can just go back here. So this is one I bought, and I can go to the original listing here. And look, I mean, just look at all the images. Like, he's got all these pictures, right? That's the worst part right there. A little mark there. Boom. Right? So it's not a perfect coin. It's a 64, I guess. But for the price though, I mean, he gave you a ton of images to kind of like really evaluate a coin. It's not perfect, but it doesn't have any like gross black toning or anything like that. Like, some toning is good, some toning is bad. You can see the scratches on the fields there, but we'll see what the coin looks like again when it's in our hand, and if it has a lot of good luster or not like that, and that's how we'll really be able to tell. But for now, I mean, I feel like, yeah, for the price I paid, I think it's a pretty fair price. So we'll see. And I think it's actually a pretty good price in compare. I bet it's under the sight unseen price for them. Joey Franchini, thanks for the subscription to the channel as well, buddy. Appreciate you very much. All right, so that's what's kind of going on there. Yeah, I don't really have. Gosh darn it! You guys, nobody told me. I did it again. Where I went through the entire explanation of what I was showing you guys as I was going through it, and nobody told me that I was still on my freaking coin camera. Sorry about that. I'm the worst. Anyway, so those are kind of like, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm looking for those 64, 65 ranges. 66 for the Walking Liberty series are a little bit high on the budget side. I don't know if I'm willing to commit yet until I really understand what that coin's difference is between a 65 and a 66 and get really good at identifying them. But we do have, you know, our packet here of coins that we're going to send off. I think I'm going to send this 1921S off as well after we do our grading thing. So pretty soon we need to go through our grading scales, set all that up, and have fun with this and figure out what we're going to submit for grading. I've also got my tool to start when we go into the magnifying glass to really start to like identify marks and such as we go through. So yeah, that's all I got. I mean, I hope everybody had a great Saturday morning. This wasn't the longest, you know, live stream we've ever done, but I thought I got a really busy day today, and I thought I'd hop in here and just kind of have some fun with some coins and some precious metals and talk with you guys. So thank you for your time and attention this morning. Have a fantastic, wonderful day. Get out there and remember, you know, as somebody else said, if you don't get started, you can't get finished, right? NGC or PCGS, Argent? The coin, sorry, I was showing it here. Again, I kind of screwed up this camera here, but this was the coin here. Oh, I will say, guys, I do like the NGC slab, right, with this milky white. I actually am preferring PCGS. So I don't know if that question, Argent, was for me. What do I prefer? Or what was the coin that I purchased? What brand was it? I like PCGS. And the main reason why I like PCGS is actually because I have a clear vision of the edge of the coin. Oh, I'm going to probably send off to PCGS. Sorry, Argent. Yeah. My plan is to send off to PCGS. I don't know all the details of like how I can do it and like all that stuff, but my plan is to send it to them. And the reason is because I like their slabs the best. And the reason I like them the best is because I can see the edge of the coin, and I consider the edge of the coin to be a part of the coin. And I think it's important to be able to see it and be able to evaluate it and whatever. Whereas if I look at NGC, I don't know how. Maybe you guys can tell me, but I don't know a way to ever see the edge of this coin again without cracking it out of the slab. And to me, I don't know. I feel like this is the way the slabs should be. They should be transparent, translucent, and you should be able to identify and inspect the entire coin, not just the two surfaces, obverse and reverse. So maybe I'm a lunatic. I could very well be a lunatic. I've been called worse. So anyway, that's it. That's all I got. I got nothing else. Have a wonderful day. Kick ass, take names, buy, sell, trade, whatever you want to do. Hold, diamond hands it, stack it up to the ceilings. You do you. Appreciate you. See you guys on the next one.